Welcome to the Bella Vista Gardening Program. I'm Jerry Horner, and joining me today is Brenda Anderson.
Thank you.
And she's a fellow Benton County Master Gardener. And right now she holds the position of Vice President of Administration at the Master Gardeners. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And welcome to our little committee that we get together and plan events and shows.
Thanks.
Today we're going to be talking about garden dreaming and planning. You got to dream about your garden in January because it's, it's
You
the
sure
time.
do. Best time to do it.
Yeah. So you have to start planning and making arrangements for changes, additions to your garden. And you have to be sure you can find the necessary plants and seeds you want to purchase.
Right.
So, and we'll also cover a few things. What to do in your garden in January. There's not a lot, but you still can't just,
No.
shut it off. You still
Right.
have things to do. So, but first I want to thank our sponsor, the Prairie Nursery on McNally Road in Bella Vista. So when you shop there, please thank them for sponsoring our show. We really appreciate them. And I think right now they have a really wonderful selection of houseplants.
Oh, wow.
So this is a time of year to, kind of spruce up the house with some
Right.
houseplants.
Sounds good.
So have you shopped there?
I have.
Oh, it's a great little
It's
shop.
a nice little place.
And they're so helpful. It's great. So today we're going to be talking about planning and thinking about your beautiful garden in the spring and the summer. And there's so many helpful books. I mean, there's just books, and of course there's websites too, but there's so many books that you can, curl up with a hot chocolate and read.
That's right.
And the thing is, if you have a blank slate where you're just building a house and you just don't have anything there, that is really probably the hardest, don't you think?
I think it's probably the hardest, but it's fun.
It's fun. and
Fun
it's-
to dream and scheme.
Yeah.
And,
But when you have your plan, you have your whole plan, you can't do that all at one time.
no, you really shouldn't.
So you have to do that in stages and
Right.
realize you're not going to, move in one year and the next year have a
No.
totally finished garden. So, and if you move into a home with an existing garden, like you did that,
Right.
and I moved into the house with nothing, so. And you moved into a house with an existing.
Yes.
So then you have to decide what's going to change and what you're going to add, what you're going to take out.
Right.
And, those
Right.
challenges are tough.
Yeah, they are.
So,
It's fun, but it's
fun.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you, the first year, so you have a lot of surprises of what comes up.
Right.
And you just sometimes don't even know what they are
No.
if you're not a master gardener. And even if you are a master gardener, sometimes
still
you
learn
don't know
a
what
lot.
they are. You still learn. You're always learning.
Right.
So, and then as your garden ages, my garden is aging. It's 26, 7 years old. So as it ages, you have to replace plants that die, and you have to rearrange. When you lose a tree, you have sun now where you didn't have sun before.
Right.
So there's a lot of changes that come about over the years. And then the maintenance requirements, as you get older, you either have to have help if you still have a big garden, or you have to go with lower maintenance.
Right.
So anyway, but there's so many books and magazines that tell you about the plant and what requirements there are. We're in Zone 6, which is well, they say 6A, 6B, but we should be able to have a plant that survives at 5 degrees below zero.
Right.
Now, last year we had 17 below.
Right.
And did you lose a lot of plants?
I did.
I lost mostly hollies.
I lost my Nandinas, which was okay with me. I was ready to replace.
So you didn't let them come back, or you just took them
No,
out?
they were just so scraggly. I just decided we're going to take them out.
Okay, mine were pretty bad, but if we waited till June last year, they came back, but it took a while.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of people took their
Right.
Nandinas out.
Right.
So, but anyway, it was just a very unusual year, and one of the things that we have is reference materials. This is Brett and Becky's catalog, and they sell perennials and bulbs. And if you go on a BellaVistaGardenClub.com website, you can order through Brent and Becky's. If you go through Bloomin' Bucks, it's called, and choose Bella Vista Garden Club, we can get a credit from Brent and
well, that's
Becky's.
awesome.
And they give us a wonderful credit if you purchase your plants through the Bloomin' Bucks website.
Okay.
And so the prices are the same for you, but the garden club can get a little bonus with these. And then the other one I really want to mention before we get into it is the Missouri Nursery in Jefferson City. It's the Missouri Wildflower Farm Nursery. This catalog, you should really get this catalog because it has a wonderful chart of all the plants and all the, all the things about the plant, whether it attracts butterflies, whatever, all the facts. But the other thing they do is they rate the plant. They will give it different stars. So if it's something that would look really good in your front garden or your front beds, they'll tell you. But if it's something that maybe you should put in the back, 40, it'll bloom but then maybe disappear. So they actually rate the plant, which is really a nice feature.
That is nice, yeah.
And again, there's just so many planning books. There's, that in my library I have the Well-Planned Garden and Wayside and, how to do water features, whatever. And then this last book down here is the A to Z garden plants. And it's like the Encyclopedia Britannica. It tells you everything you would ever want to know.
It's pretty much
about
like a
that
college book.
It is. It's and sometimes it's intimidating to people, but it's just a great reference if you want to know about a plant and you want to know all about the characteristics. So it's a really good reference book. But there's also websites.
Websites are
Galore.
totally awesome.
Yes.
I love them so much.
And you've come up with quite a few, I think, on this presentation. And we're going to show some slides here of the different websites and different items. So if you want to go through this pretty quickly, we can talk about these.
This is just a little overview of what you can find in your seed catalogs. They are absolutely hassle-free shopping. You can sit there in your jammies and slippers and drink your coffee and just dream and dream and dream. Just about, I should say all of the catalogs nowadays and online give you the culture basics. Soil prep, how to direct sow or indoor sow, transplant, how to cultivate, problems with insects and diseases, and how to harvest and store your flowers or vegetables. Plus they have beautiful, beautiful pictures of flowers, veggies, shrubs, trees, whatever you're looking for, you can find in a lot of these catalogs. Just Google stuff and plug in what you're specifically looking for, and oh my gosh, you will be overwhelmed.
That's right. And some of the catalogs you might have to be careful because some of them will do some, touching up of flowers, and what they show in the catalog will never appear in your garden.
True,
So there's some catalogs that do that. So, but mainly the tried and true ones that have been around for a long time.
Right. And there are probably thousands of catalogs nowadays. So just find one and go for it. Fertilizers. Here's a good one. Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. They're located in Missouri, just 3 hours away. And we also have Longfield Gardens. They're in New Jersey, and they have an excellent blog, and they're a good source for hostas.
Oh, really? Yeah, hostas are great.
Then we have Gurney's. That's an older one.
That's been around a long time,
They're really good. Great pictures. Let's see. Gardener Supply. They have everything. Tools, supplies. not so much on the seeds, but they have gifts, just all kinds of great ideas for
Well,
you.
the other thing you have to think about is your tools. You know, when you're planting your garden, you have to have the right tools.
Right,
So
and
it
not
makes
having
life
just the
easier.
right tools, you have to have good tools because
Yeah.
you don't want to have to buy them every season. So get some good stuff to start out with and go for it. But they also have good videos and also a good blog. Eden Brothers, a lot of these catalogs like Eden Brothers, they will give you the AAS, the American, what is,
American
the All-American Society. They will display what is the new stuff out there for you.
There's always new things coming out every year. There's new
Yeah.
varieties and, you know, new plants you have to look at.
That's right. Fast-growing trees. I experienced them last spring. Last spring was my first time to have a garden in Bella Vista, and I ordered from them. I think they're out of North or South Carolina, and they also work with master gardeners. And I got my citrus trees from them, and they're just doing awesome.
So you bring those in the winter?
I do. I have them in containers, and I take them into my lower area of the house where it's protected, and they're just still doing great.
Well, just because we're in Zone 6 doesn't mean we can't have
No.
tender plants. We can
That's
pull
right.
them in the winter.
Find a
and-
place where you can protect them or learn how to protect them even outside.
Yeah.
The Rusted Garden. This guy is even on YouTube and has some excellent videos from the novice to the experienced garden. I really enjoy his programs.
Well, it's good to have, you know, a variety of levels of gardening because some people starting out, they get
Right.
intimidated when
Right, and don't be intimidated. We all had to start somewhere, and we're all still learning. If you're not still learning, you're probably 6 feet under. So, Territorial Seed Company, I discovered them last year and ordered quite a few of my seeds from them. And as this slide shows you, they will give you requirements for what you're wanting to plant, like, let's say, cauliflower. It tells you if it's a tender perennial or annual, where to plant it, if you should direct sow or sow indoors to start them early. So it's a great company to work with.
Spring Hill's been around a long
Yes.
time. It's really a good nursery too.
It is. I've got an order right now waiting to be delivered.
Oh,
Can't
you've already
wait.
ordered and
I
hasn't
have.
been delivered. And the other thing, they'll deliver at a timely basis
Right,
so that it's
right.
time to plant when you receive them.
Seeds and Such is another great little company.
Have you
I'm
ordered
enjoying-
from them?
I have not, but I do look at their information online. American Meadows, yes. A lot of these companies, along with American Meadows, they offer you drop-down boxes where you can plug in your zone, your light, water requirements, your soil area that you're wanting to plant in. If you're wanting to attract butterflies or certainly not the deer, don't try to attract the deer, they'll come anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, having those drop-down boxes, the filters, and apply them, and you can get it right down to the last 3 plants that are really great for your location.
Right. That's the main, you know, there's some, the main thing is to put the right plant in the right place.
Right.
You know, everybody loves plants and,
You might like that peony, but it might not like where it's planted in.
Right.
You know, learn from your mistakes
Right.
the first time so you don't have to buy it 5 times.
well, Dr. Klingeman at the University of Arkansas said if you don't kill a plant 3 times, you haven't tried. So, and I've tried that. And
Yeah,
I've killed plants
it's
3
true.
times. And, you know, it just, the
Sometimes
third
you-
time's a charm sometimes.
Sometimes you just have to be real hard-headed about things
Yeah.
and do it.
And then Better Homes and Gardens magazine and
Yes.
website, they have a
Yeah.
lot of information.
And not just the magazine, online. They've got, all of these places have how-tos and videos and blogs. You can sign up for newsletters that they have. So
Right.
there's a wealth of information out
Yeah.
there. Another long-time
That's been around
seed
a
company,
long
Burpee
time.
Seed, is great.
Yeah. They've got a lot of varieties.
They do.
A lot of varieties. Bluestone's been around too for a long time and have sometimes real unusual plants of bluestone you don't find everywhere else.
Right. Just be careful. Look at the zone requirements. You know, if you're on the fringe of a zone, it might work because, you know, we can create our own little microclimates in our yard. So, you know, just because it says zone 5 doesn't mean you can't do it. I think we're 6B.
We're 6. Yeah.
So we're real close. You can, you could do it.
Yeah. And Burgess seed, they've been around a long time too.
Right. Yeah.
And then you need to compare. You know, maybe that this catalog might have the same thing as another catalog. You know, but compare your prices.
Compare your prices, and different ones offer different varieties of a plant. So.
Right. And Dutch Gardens is another one with a lot of bulbs. They have
lots
a lot of
nice,
bulbs.
pretty things.
And then
I'm not familiar with them, but I do enjoy looking.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want to see what's available. And Jackson Perkins, of course, that's the
beautiful
gold
roses.
standard for roses. Yeah. So.
I just thought that was a cute picture.
That's cute. Well, if you can grow cabbage like that, you got to enter that in the Benton County Fair.
That's right.
Yes. But there's so many vegetables you can grow here. And Seed Savers Exchange got too far.
Seed Savers is great. I ordered quite a bit from them last year too, and had great success.
And it's a great organization to save seeds of heirloom plants.
Right. Lily Pond's Water Gardens, there's a couple of, maybe 3 locations throughout the United States, but when we lived in Texas, we would go to their location outside of Houston and buy our water lilies and other aquatic plants. Great.
And there's a lot of water features in Bella Vista. You can have a water feature.
Yes, you can.
Pretty easy in Bella Vista. And then tropicals.
Yes. Don't be afraid to go with your tropicals. You can keep them safe. I've got quite a few different things.
I think I have, some that I just take in for the winter, but they just add so much color and beauty to your garden in the summer. They really do. And then Michigan bulb's another one with just wonderful bulbs. Different varieties. It can be tiny little, little blooms, or they can be large. Monticello Seed Catalog.
And if you've been there, you've seen this slide in life.
Real life,
Yeah.
Park Seed Company is another one that's been around a long time.
It's a monster mill in there.
A lot of varieties.
Yes, they do.
A lot of varieties. And then Plant Delights, that's one of my favorites. I just like to get the catalog and read it. It's so funny. There's so much humor put in that catalog that it just, every once in a while, you'll catch a line and you just have to laugh out loud. I was reading about shipping when I was making an order, and it said, well, if you've gotten to this point of the shipping instructions, I know you really want to order our plants. So, it's just things like that they put in the catalog that just, lighten the mood. So. And then Prairie Nursery is another one. It's got a lot of native prairie plant seeds, which are really nice. And then Richter's Herbs.
There's a lot of people growing herbs now and wanting to get into the medicinal usage of them. So I thought this was a good slide to give to those.
And the other problem in here is they'll put herbs on the market. They'll have them in the stores in March. And you can't plant your herbs outside in March.
No, not
so sometimes you're better off doing your seeds inside, and then they're ready to plant when the weather's ready.
That's right.
But a lot of people will be planting their herbs, and then they'll have to replant them again when they freeze.
Yeah.
So. And Southern Exposure seeded. That sounds interesting. I haven't been to that site, and it sounds like a big.
Yeah, it looks like it's another native plant site. And a lot of these catalogs will offer plants or the roots, the dormant roots, and seeds. So that's a nice option too.
Right. Yeah. You don't always have to grow seeds.
No.
So, and then there's strictly medicinal seeds. So that's, again, you're talking about medicinal plants, and there's a lot of people into medicinals and interested
I
in
think
that.
this area of the country, we're really into the natural. Of course, we are the natural
Well,
state.
natural state.
But protecting our pollinators, our birds and our bees and everything else, because if we didn't have them, we wouldn't be able to have our garden
We wouldn't have a garden without them.
or a farm.
Yeah. And then the tomato growers.
Oh my gosh, there are so many tomato varieties.
yeah.
And that can be overwhelming because then you've got different types of tomatoes, determinate, indeterminate, and you have to know what you want to do and
When do you want to harvest?
right,
Yeah.
and what kind of tomato you want. You want to make a pasta, a paste, or a sauce, or
Right.
a slicer.
Urban farm seed. That's
I think this company does a lot of hydroponics, and that's something that's becoming more popular too.
there are Vermont-based seeds, bean seeds. But beans are really a big part of our diet now.
Yes.
In a lot of cases. So if you can grow your own beans,
Yep.
it'd be great. A lot of variety. Vermont Wildflower Farm is another wonderful wildflower.
It is, yeah.
Use your
I just want to take babies out there and take pictures. It's so pretty.
yeah. And Wayside Garden's been there a long time too. They've got some beautiful, beautiful hostas.
Right.
And a
Lots
lot of varieties of
Right.
plants.
Yep.
And White Flower Farm is another one. They may have some unusual plants you don't find anywhere else.
Right.
Wild Seed Farms, I'm not familiar with them, but they sounds
Looks
like
like
they have some wonderful.
some Texas bluebonnets there.
And we can grow those here.
I haven't tried yet.
Even though we're not in Texas, we can grow them. Okay, Wilhite
Yep.
Seed is another great seed company. And Harris Seeds is, I'm not sure where they're located, but they do have really a big
They
variety.
do have a nice variety.
And Garden Gate Magazine, now that magazine itself is just so informative. And they'll show you a garden, a picture of a garden, and then they'll lay out a
design
schematic for you.
Yeah.
So that you need 3 of these plants and 4 of those plants, and you plant them here and there, and you'll have a garden that looks just like that
Right.
picture.
Yep.
So if you want a pre-planned garden, Garden Gate has some wonderful
do.
options in there. They're great.
This is an app for your phone or your iPads or whatever called Seed Linked. You can create your own plant trial, whether by seed or plants. You can go in there and say you're doing tomatoes. You pick a variety of tomato from Park Seed, one from Burpee, whoever, and plug it into their thing, and it will compare them. And then once you purchase the seed and plant it, then you can start keeping your own data and plug it into this app. And what this does at the end of your season, it will give you the results of your study. But if you participate with the seed community, you also get data from their collection too. So you're participating in a
And
joint
you're
venture.
sharing your knowledge
Right.
and your experience.
Right.
So that's good.
So for taking people, this was a fun one.
Yeah. So there's just, like I said, there's so much that you can go online and find. But you got to remember to keep your ordering in line with how much you can plant and how much you can maintain, because we've all walked around with that plant
Right.
in that little pot and wondering, where can
Yeah.
we plant
Yeah,
this?
it's very
So
tempting.
You have to plan ahead. So, then there's a few things you need to do in your garden for the January. There's might be accumulations of snow and ice.
Right.
We had a little bit of snow not too long ago, maybe an inch, not bad.
Okay.
And if you do get snow on your plants, don't try to brush it off. Just let it melt. And if they bend something or break something, you can shape it up in the spring.
Right.
But unless it's very, very heavy snow, you maybe take a broom and
Right.
brush off some of the snow. So, and then the ice melting. If you have ice on your plants, don't try to take the ice off. Just let it melt. Because if you have a plant with ice on it and you try to get the ice off, it's going to break the
Right,
plant.
but you could also take a rake or a broom and at the base of the plant, kind of break that loose and pull it away from the main stem.
Yeah, you can't do that. And then if you're going to do melting ice in the driveway, just be sure you don't use salt.
No.
Salt-based. There's products that are
That's right.
non-toxic to plants. So.
Sometimes your evergreens might show some brown areas. Just leave it alone till spring, and
the
then
burning,
you can trim it away.
Yeah. So, and then you have to pay attention to the forecast. If we're going to have a hard freeze and you have some plants in pots, just make sure they have enough water. If they're moist, they'll survive that cold a lot
they
better.
will.
You know.
If you happen to have winter annuals like pansies or violas, you can deadhead and then fertilize on a mild day.
Yeah, because sometimes we get some nice warm days
Yes, we
in
do, thank
between.
God.
And
Yeah.
that's a good time to fertilize
Right.
those type of plants. So, and then you could add manure to your beds and maybe some mulch. And if it's a vegetable garden, maybe do some straw over it for the winter.
Right.
And get it ready for the spring.
That's right. And right now is a good time. If you can dig in your soil or your rocks, you can plant your trees and shrubs. And
Yeah, as long as the soil's not frozen,
Right.
you can plant. And just be sure you watch the moisture then. And then have to watch that moisture over the winter. If we have a dry winter, you may have to drag the hose out a little bit on a mild day and get some water out there.
I've had to do that. And don't forget to feed the birds. There are still birds in the
They're
area.
so hungry when it's cold like this. They're very hungry. So anyway, winter is a great time to get that hot chocolate or cup of tea and look at all those brochures and start dreaming about your perfect garden and your, what you want to change.
Right.
And the Master Gardeners has a great website, bentoncountygardening.org, and it's filled with great information. So, and the Bella Vista Garden Club January meeting will be January 26th on a Wednesday, and we meet at the community church, Bella Vista Community Church. Social time is 9:30, and the meeting starts at 10. And the program is going to be interesting this year. It's Emma Pendley, Interim Director of Home Region Program. She's going to speak about the Walton Family Foundation's environmental initiatives in Northwest Arkansas. So we'll find out what their plans are for Northwest Arkansas. And for more information, you can go to the BellaVistaGardenClub.com. It's just easy to find. It's got a lot of information about gardening and what's coming up in the club, and so just kind of stay in tune.
Yep.
So, but thank you, Brenda, for coming today. I really enjoyed your sharing all your information about planning and
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
We do a lot of planning, and we do a lot of planting, and we do a lot of moving plants. But Mother Nature's kind of the ruler of some of our gardens, so you have to keep that in mind. So, anyway, if you enjoyed the show, I hope you'll join us next month. And until then, don't forget to stop and smell the roses.